I just got off a plane this morning, 6 a.m. I just flew in from New York, so my time zones are a little off, but I'm so pleased to be here. Excellencies, do I see any other colleagues? Yes, I do. Excellencies. Distinguished delegates, friends, and colleagues. I stand before you today representing not just Zambia, but perhaps a vision of how nations of the global South can navigate the complex terrain of our fragmented world while ensuring that no one is left behind, which always tends to be complicated. As we gather to examine the intersection of geoeconomics, trade, and development, Zambia's experience offers both some lessons and some possibilities, inspiring ones, for the future that we seek to build together. The traditional paradigms that governed international trade for decades, as has been discussed most of the morning, are being reshaped by strategic interests and security considerations. For land-linked countries, that's what we call Zambia. We're not landlocked, we're land-linked. So for land-linked, resource-rich nations like Zambia, this fragmentation presents both unprecedented challenges and remarkable opportunities. Our 8th National Development Plan, with its theme of socioeconomic transformation for improved livelihoods, recognizes these realities and places economic transformation and job creation at the core of our national strategy. Economic security for us is not simply about protecting borders or trade flows. It's about building resilience through developing infrastructure that lowers trade costs, ensuring food and energy security, and reducing dependency on single markets or commodities. Our approach has been to embrace what we call positive neutrality, a foreign policy that allows us to engage proactively across global political divides while maintaining our sovereignty and advancing our national interests. This approach has proven its worth for us. Despite global tensions, Zambia has successfully attracted investments and development support from a diverse mix of partners. We love that word, partners. While strengthening our relationships with Western allies, we have simultaneously maintained our important economic ties with China, India, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. Foreign investment announcements reach about 1.7 billion and 1.4 billion in 2022 and 2023, respectively. So this diversification is really not merely diplomatic convenience. It's a strategic necessity in an era where economic security depends on avoiding overdependence on any single partner. I think we're all forced to look at that. At the heart of our economic transformation strategy lies our endowment of critical minerals that are essential for the global energy transition. Zambia's ambition is to become not just a source of minerals, but a strategic partner in the green value chains, providing both raw resources and the industrial base needed for the world's energy future. Our national critical mineral strategy is clear. Zambia must not only export raw materials, but create value at home by encouraging local processing and manufacturing, by insisting on skills transfer and technology partnerships, and by ensuring that communities benefit through jobs and social development, particularly in the communities where the mining activity takes place. We possess some of the world's highest grade of copper deposits and stand as the 7th largest copper producer globally, with ambitious targets to increase production from 800,000 tons to 3 million tons annually by 2031. Extremely ambitious, but possible. Our mineral wealth extends far beyond copper to include cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, graphite, and rare earth elements, the very materials that will power the clean energy future for the world. By the end of this year, we will commission Africa's first cobalt sulfate refinery, a facility that will be among the very few outside of China capable of producing this key component for lithium-ion batteries. This represents both economic transformation and strategic positioning in increasingly fragmented supply chains. Recent investments from India, with $4 billion committed to mineral exploration across 9,000 square kilometers, and the $1.4 million US investment in Zambia mine expansion demonstrates the strategic value of our resources in an era of supply chain reconfiguration. These partnerships position Zambia as a critical player in global supply chains at a time when nations are seeking to diversify away from over-concentrated sources. In this fragmented world, small and medium-sized economies must be particularly strategic in their international engagements. Under our 8th National Development Plan, particularly under the pillar of good governance and a safe, effective state, we are pursuing what we call economic diplomacy, engaging international partners not just politically, but in ways that deliver investment, trade, and technology to our people. The government has taken concrete steps to attract investment through innovative institutional mechanisms. In March 2022, we established the Presidential Delivery Unit, it's called the PDU, to fast-track priority public and private sector initiatives that drive accelerated economic growth. The PDU works with existing resources in an accelerated manner through strategic prioritization of specific economic value streams, optimizing workflow by removing operational and logistical delays. Really trying to work on efficiency. Complementing this, the Public-Private Dialogue Forum, PPDF, launched in April 2022, provides a structured platform for public-private sector engagement on policy matters. The PPDF aims to harness trade and investment opportunities for Zambia's private sector on local, regional, continental, and international markets, while promoting value chains and value addition for various commodities and products. Since its establishment, the forum has facilitated $1.3 billion for Zambia's health sector and created innovative mechanisms for addressing private sector constraints, unlocking the red tape. Our commitment to multilateralism extends through our active participation in regional bodies like COMESA and SADC, and our recent gazetting of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which we have heard a lot about today. The AFCTA opens access to a market of 1.3 billion people with a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion, creating opportunities for Zambian entrepreneurs to trade preferentially across Central, West, and North Africa with manufactured goods, processed agricultural products, and value-added mineral products. Mining remains central to our economy and has been for decades. But the 8th National Development Plan makes clear that Zambia's long-term prosperity lies in economic diversification. Our resilience strategy is anchored on 4 key drivers embedded in our national framework. Number 1, infrastructure development, which focuses on expanding energy, transport, and digital connectivity to unlock trade and attract investment. We're developing multi-facility economic zones, MFEZ, across the country as a backbone for economic growth, creating industrial clusters necessary for competitive manufacturing. Number 2, agriculture transformation, which strengthens productivity and boosts agro-processing while ensuring both food security and export competitiveness. Through initiatives like the Agricultural Productivity and Market Enhancement Project, we are establishing irrigation schemes, agro-processing facilities, and market centers that create employment while enhancing food security. Our goal is to produce 1 million tons of wheat and soybeans and 10 million tons of maize annually by 2031. Ambitious, but we can do it. We've got the land, we've got the great soil, and we're working on the irrigation system, so all is well. Number 3, manufacturing development, which supports value chains that generate jobs from agro-processing to mineral beneficiation. Our cement, textiles, and agro-processing sectors are expanding, supported by improved infrastructure and access to regional markets through the AfCFTA. And number 4, human development investments in education, skills, and health empower citizens to drive and fully benefit from economic growth. Our commitments to ensuring 80% of Zambians are included in the digital economy by 2026 reflects our understanding that human capital is fundamental to economic transformation. And as you all, I'm sure, are very well aware, the continent has the youngest population of anyone. Our commitment and our youth are restless. They're restless. So we have to tend to the youth. Our commitments to renewable energy diversification reflects both climate imperatives and energy security needs. With targets of 9,000 megawatts of energy generation by 2030, including 1,000 megawatts of solar capacity by the end of this year, we're positioning ourselves as a potential regional energy hub through the Southern Africa Power Pool. Zambia is strategically located. We are in the womb of the continent of Africa. We have 8 markets, 8 neighbors. It's actually 8 plus 1, but 8 neighbors, which makes it a great place for planting a seed if you want to expand your business and or reach out to 8 other potential markets, plus 1 up the waterways to Burundi. The intersection of climate change and supply chain resilience presents both challenges and opportunities for developing nations. Zambia's approach recognizes that climate resilience and economic development must be pursued simultaneously, not sequentially. Our investments in climate-smart agriculture, renewable energy infrastructure, and sustainable mining practices are creating a model for development that is both economically viable and environmentally responsible. The establishment of climate finance units within our government structure, supported by international partnerships, that word again, is helping mobilize the resources needed for this transformation. The global shift towards supply chain resilience creates opportunities for countries like Zambia to become integral partners in new, more diversified networks. Our strategic location, as I mentioned before, improved infrastructure, and commitments to responsible mining practices position us as a reliable partner for companies and countries seeking alternatives to concentrated supply chains. New partnerships for new challenges. Traditional models of engagement are no longer enough, I think, if Zambia is to achieve its ambitions. We're seeking new forms of partnerships that recognize the interconnected nature of today's challenges, focusing on 3 key areas. Trade and investment partnerships that integrate us into the regional and global supply chain. South-South cooperation is emerging as a powerful complement to North-South relationships, offering opportunities for mutual learning and support. Our partnerships with countries, as I mentioned, like India in critical minerals, our collaborations with the UAE in renewable energy, and our engagement with Brazil in agricultural technologies demonstrate the potential of these horizontal partnerships that work very well. Innovation and technology collaborations that introduce research, digital tools, and green technologies to local industries. Innovation ecosystems in the Global South are producing breakthrough solutions tailored to local contexts while addressing global challenges. Zambia is part of this movement, developing technologies and approaches that serve our specific needs while contributing to global solutions. climate and development partnerships that align climate action with sustainable growth, ensuring progress for both Zambia and Africa as a whole. The traditional development finance architecture is evolving to include more diverse sources of funding and more flexible instruments. Green bonds, climate finance mechanisms, and innovative partnerships between public and private sectors are creating new possibilities. I think earlier it was referred to the green pie. We all want a piece of the green pie. As we look forward to the future, several principles should guide our navigation in this fragmented world. First, integration without subordination. Regional integration through mechanisms like the AFCTA must be pursued as a means of building collective strength, not creating new dependencies. Small and medium-sized economies must work together to create alternatives to existing power structures while engaging constructively with all partners. Second, innovation as empowerment. The technological and industrial revolutions present opportunities for leapfrogging traditional development pathways. Countries like Zambia can use digital technologies, clean energy systems, and advanced manufacturing to build modern economies without repeating the resource-intensive patterns of the past. Third, value addition as transformation. The export of raw materials, while important, cannot be the end goal. True economic transformation requires building the capabilities to process, manufacture, and innovate using our natural endowments. This creates jobs, builds skills, and generates the economic complexity necessary for sustained development. And fourth, partnerships as empowerment. In a fragmented world, the ability to engage with diverse partners from positions of strength becomes critical. This requires building domestic capabilities, maintaining policy independence, and creating value propositions that attract respectful partnerships rather than dependent relationships. And I think I'd like to conclude with perhaps a vision of shared prosperity. The fragmentation that we observe in global systems need not lead to isolation or conflict. Instead, it can create space for new forms of cooperation based on mutual respect, shared benefits, and common challenges. Zambia's experience demonstrates that small and medium-sized economies can thrive in this environment by being strategic, principled, and inclusive in their approach. Through our 8th National Development Plan, our framework, innovative industrial mechanisms like the PDU and the PPDF, and our commitments to positive neutrality, we're showing that economic transformation is possible even in challenging global circumstances. Our projected $21 billion in cumulative new investments between 2025 and 2030, potentially in creating up to 220,000 additional jobs, demonstrates the concrete possibilities when vision meets strategic implementation. It's tough work, but we can do it. The future we seek, one of sustainable development, climate resilience, and shared prosperity, requires us to move beyond zero-sum thinking towards collaborative problem solving. The minerals that power our devices, the energy that lights our cities, and the food that nourishes our populations all depend on cooperation across borders and between different economic systems. As we navigate this fragmented world, let's remember that true security, economic, environmental, and social, comes not from dominance, but from interdependence based on justice and mutual benefit. The partnerships we build today will determine whether the transformation underway leads to greater inequality or unprecedented shared prosperity. Time for us to act is now. The opportunities are real. The partnerships are available. What remains is the will to seize this moment and build the inclusive, resilient, and prosperous future that all of our peoples deserve. Thank you.